Hello from Amsterdam. I'm so glad that you're back and that you're continuing to watch this series that I've been putting up on my blog from different cities that I'm visiting in the world. And today I come to you from slightly rainy, slightly chilly Amsterdam. You can see I've got my $3 Target umbrella out to protect me and my phone as I'm sitting on the back deck here outside of my apartment and as I'm recording this video for you. Now, I originally thought about recording it inside at the kitchen table, but it's kind of dark in there, and my friend Tonya is here, and so it feels slightly awkward to do this kind of a video in front of her, even though I know she could watch it at some point. It's different like doing it live. So I decided to come out here on the back deck to do the video and say hello to all of you. Now, we've stayed in Amsterdam now a total of 6 nights, and really there are things I still haven't seen about the city that I want to see. I'll probably come back to Amsterdam because there are things that I want to explore that I just haven't had a chance to do on this trip, but that's a good sign because that tells you how much I've enjoyed being in the city. So just a couple of things about kind of our apartment and my experience here so far. The apartment that we're staying in was listed as being in City Central, but that was a little bit of a misnomer. You know, Airbnb, sometimes they take a few liberties with some of their descriptions. We're actually in a neighborhood called Zeeburg, which is very close to the city center. I mean, it's about a 5 or 6 minute walk to our tram station, and then to get into the city center from the tram station that's nearest our house would be about another 15-minute ride. So it's not terribly inconvenient or anything like that, but it's not right as far in the center as I was kind of expecting. The property that we're staying in is nice. It's been plenty of what we needed, you know, to keep us comfortable. It's had a washing machine, which has been lovely because I've had some laundry to do. Now, I did not have air conditioning, and Tony and I actually kind of waffled about that a little bit, but we haven't needed it this week. I think the hottest day was 77, but most of the days have been more like 67 or 68 for the high, and then the lows in the upper 50s. So we haven't needed an air conditioner. Now, there have been a few days where we've come home and the apartment has been kind of stuffy and kind of muggy inside, but generally if we just open either the front or the back door and let it air out, that's been plenty. We haven't had to worry about, you know, about anything else. So I'm thankful that we decided to stay in a spot that didn't have air conditioning and we've been comfortable. You know, it could have gone the other way very easily. And if you all remember following me from when I stayed in Paris a couple of years ago, you know how that could have gone very differently so easily. Okay. So one of the things that I've loved about Amsterdam is the ease of its transit system. Now, apparently Amsterdam has both trams and buses as well as an underground metro system. You also have, of course, taxis and Uber here in the city. Well, at this point, all we have used thus far is Uber I take that back, is a taxi to take us from the central station to our apartment, and we've used the tram system. And we've gotten around just fine. We haven't done a ton of walking to get to transit, so I feel like the tram system has really covered what we were going to do very well. We got the 4-day transportation tickets that are, I want to say they were like 22 euros each. And what's great about that is that you can use the same ticket on either the tram, the bus, or the metro. So if we had decided to use the bus or the metro, then we could have used the exact same ticket. We wouldn't have had to have bought anything else. So I think that's a good thing to know. I also really like how the tram system works. For example, when you're getting ready to get on a tram, then there are only certain doors where you can enter the tram, and there are different doors where you leave the tram. So like in all of the other public transportation systems that I've used, basically the unspoken rule of thumb is you let everybody who's on the train or whatever get off, and then everybody who wants to get on the train gets on. But you know, some people don't follow directions, right? And so the Amsterdam system really seems to get around that whole, some people don't know how to follow directions or customs sort of thing, because, you only get on with certain doors, you only get off with certain doors, and it's been a little bit more streamlined. You haven't had to worry about, is somebody going to run me over as I'm trying to get off the tram, or somebody going to, push me out of the way trying to get on the tram in a hurry. So I've actually enjoyed that system. They also require on the tram that you check in and check off each time you use the transportation. So I have like a little blue card. I should have had it here, but I left it in my purse, sorry. But you have a little blue card that I touch to a little sensor on the inside of the tram door, and it makes a little beep sound. And that is me checking in. Then when I get ready to get off the tram, I do that same process at an exit door. It beeps to let me off of the tram. And so, I don't know 100% that the government of Amsterdam is tracking this kind of transportation, but it would be so smart if they were, because it would tell them maybe which tram lines need to run more often, or which tram lines need bigger trams, or which tram lines need to be expanded or reduced, or whatever. So I don't know for sure that they're tracking that, but I think if they are, that it's probably a wealth of information to be able to see the check-in and check-out procedure at different stations. I also like that on the trams there are at least 2 human beings who are actually working on the tram in case you need to buy a ticket, or you have a question or an emergency or whatever. So there's the person who's driving the tram. You really shouldn't talk to him or her much, because that person's busy not running over pedestrians and bicyclists. And then there's a person who sits in a little booth kind of in the middle of the tram, and that person monitors that people are, actually checking in and checking out, but also sells tickets to people who need them. There are also ticket machines in some of the more populated touristy areas of the city, and there are ticket machines where you can buy tickets at the central train station too. So I think that the way they have this set up is actually really conducive to tourism, because there are real people there who can answer questions and give you a little bit of direction. And quite frankly, I was surprised that most of the people who have worked on the trams have been very friendly and very helpful. They have greeted me as I've gotten on the tram. They have said have a good day, or asked me if I was having a good day as I got ready to leave the tram. They've answered questions that other people have had as they've gotten on board. They've sold tickets over and over and over again. It's really been a pleasant surprise how smoothly the transit system has run and how friendly the people have been who operate it. Because let's be real, in my personal experience, the people who operate public transportation are generally not the happiest people in the world, right? In all the other places that I've visited. And so the fact that they are, pleasant and want to talk and greet you a little bit in Amsterdam has been something that I didn't expect, but that I really very much appreciate. And that kind of brings me to the next thing that has been a pleasant surprise for me about Amsterdam. I had heard from other people that the people of Amsterdam were not especially friendly, that they were not necessarily impolite or anything like that, but that they weren't very positive, that they didn't seem to like tourists and that sort of thing. So honestly, when I came to the city, I kind of was ready for it. Like, I was sort of expecting people to be kind of, oh, there's a mosquito, sorry, to be kind of grouchy and maybe not hateful, but exasperated with tourists and that kind of thing. And obviously I'm a tourist here. It's not like I actually, look Dutch or blend in or anything. And it's really been the opposite. Our waiters and waitresses have been extremely friendly. We've gotten good service. The people, like I've mentioned, on public transportation have been kind and helpful. Random people on the street have been helpful and have spoken. We've met some other tourists, of course. We met a couple from New Jersey at dinner tonight, and they talked with us a little bit. We, shopkeepers have been generally pleasant, not always like over the top or as friendly as we might expect in the U.S., but certainly not negative or or rushed or irritated about tourists. They seem to be very, you know, generally happy people, I guess. And so that makes me think that maybe Amsterdam is a pretty great place to live, since a lot of the people seem to be pretty satisfied and happy here. Now, since I'd been here once before with students, but just, you know, like for a day and a half, I knew that people really did ride the bicycles like you see on television. Like, I knew that there are probably more bikes in the city than there are people, like literally. But there's still something, I don't know, kind of shocking about having to make sure when you cross the street that you're not just looking for cars, you're also looking for killer bicycles. I mean, it's a little bit discombobulating to realize you got to look for cars and trams and trains and buses and bicycles and more bicycles and then cross the street. I mean, that's like a lot to keep up with. And so I have stepped back from the bicycle jaws of death more than once, and so has Tonya. But so far, so good, knock on wood. You know, it's just a different way of life here. Almost everybody has a bicycle and bikes, like to go to the grocery and to go to work and to go to the gym and to go to church and to go hang out with friends. I mean, people just prefer to use their bicycles. Now, I had a tour guide tell me that the reason for that is because you can get anywhere you want in the city much faster than on a bicycle than you can in any other mode of transportation. So, you know, I guess it makes sense that if it were the fastest, cheapest, easiest way to get somewhere, then of course you would do it. And so of course, you know, I started thinking, I wanna ride a bike. I mean, I'm in Amsterdam. I want to ride a bike and like at least feel like what it feels to ride my bike around my neighborhood, right? Now, I haven't ridden a bike in 30 years. Maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration. 27 years, 28 years. I mean, first of all, you all know I'm not much of a sporty spice anyway, but I never really liked riding a bike because it always made my business hurt, and I just never felt like secure on it, and I always felt like I was gonna teeter off. I'm a little top heavy, so I always worried that I would kind of fall over the front of the bike. Well, Tony and I decided that we wanted to see if we could borrow the bikes that belong to our landlady and like take pictures with them. We weren't going to go anywhere. We knew that it wouldn't be smart for some tourists, some noobs like us, to like go out on an actual street in the center of town and like ride a bike. I mean, that would be honestly a way that we could get killed or injured horribly, you know, disfigured road like rash on your face kind of thing. This would not be a good look. So we decide that we want to borrow a bike from her, and maybe we could just like ride it around our apartment complex, because I think I've seen like maybe 3 cars a day here that actually drive through and aren't just parking, you know. So last night we asked her if we can borrow the bike. She rents them for a fee, you know, and she's like, yeah, you know. We're like, we just need one. We're going to take turns on it because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to ride it. Now, Tonya, I have to give her credit. Where her mom lives in Florida, they have beach bikes, and she apparently rides a bike pretty frequently, as I could tell very quickly during our small photo session that we held. But when I got ready to get on the bike, oh my God, well, you do forget how to ride a bike, FYI. You do forget it. Because I couldn't get my balance, and then I couldn't get my legs working in the right way at first, and then there was this horrible moment where I either had to crash or T-bone a Volvo. It was parked, FYI. But let's just say that I am so thankful that there is no video footage of me riding a bike yesterday here in Amsterdam, because it was horrifying. Tonya did take a few pictures, and I'll probably be sharing those on my blog. But it was a humbling experience, because it's a good thing I never tried to actually ride a bike in public. I mean, if our landlady was watching me try to ride this bike yesterday, I am sure that she's going to give us like a discount, because it was so entertaining. I mean, I squealed, I screamed, I crashed, I fell over. I did ride it, you know, for like 12 seconds in a row, a couple of different times. I tried to look like I was having fun, But this is not the place to come and ride a bike if you aren't already an expert. And so I would tell you, if you're interested in maybe moving to Amsterdam, the very first thing you need to do is to practice riding your bike like hours every day. I'll never be able to ride a bike here because I'm just not that good, but that's okay. I have some pictures of me giving it a shot, and I might do that one more time, but that would be about it. Can you hear the rain coming down? It got really, really bad here all of a sudden. You know, at first it was just sprinkling a little bit, and now it's a pretty steady rain. I'm glad I got my umbrella so that my phone wouldn't get wet. I was just checking the back of Rosie to make sure she was okay, to move her forward a little bit, make sure she's protected. Okay, so what else do I want to tell you all about Amsterdam? Well, we had a really great time doing a day trip yesterday. A lot of times Tony and I will try to do at least one kind of organized tour because it's a chance for us to maybe get out of the city where we're visiting, and to learn some things that we wouldn't necessarily learn on our own. So yesterday we went to a windmill town, and then do you hear the rain? And then we went to a couple of different fishing villages, and it was so much fun. I was really glad that we had taken the time and the money to do that. And so it's something I would recommend. And I shared some photos on Instagram, but I'll be sharing some more of those probably on my blog, along with some of the stories of those places. So I'm going to have to cut this episode short. I'm getting soaking wet on the back of me because I'm trying to use my umbrella to protect my phone. So I hope that you will forgive that this episode of Hello From is a little bit shorter than the others have been. I'll either try to check in with another episode, or maybe I can just talk about Amsterdam a little bit more when I do next week's podcast with Tracy. We're going to be recording while I'm still in Europe, and so I'm going to be talking about some of my experiences there. So for now, I'm going to go in and get dried off and try to get this uploaded to YouTube. And I hope that our day traveling to Belgium tomorrow is a little bit nicer than this. I hope you all are having fun with your friends and family this summer, that maybe you're having a little bit better weather than this, even though it does feel great. The rain is not so much fun. And I will talk to you soon. Hope you're getting some craftiness in your life between now and the next time that we chat. Bye.